good.
Very good.
Pretty good,
Good
Adrian.
afternoon. Good to see you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys could come down.
Senator Smith.
Well, good to have you.
Thank you.
Well,
Sure.
you're very deserving, and I'm just this is one of the parts of my job where I may not feel so worthy of presenting someone with such long service to our country, who I'm sure sacrificed the time of his life, and other family members sacrificed in letting him go serve our country. And I can tell you that not a day goes by in Washington when I don't think, and I don't even have to drive past the memorials to realize how grateful I am that folks would have sacrificed so much to serve our country. Many of whom, I don't have to tell you, have given the ultimate sacrifice. I'm glad you made it back.
Thank you.
In fact, I get to serve alongside a colleague, Sam Johnson. Sam was maybe you're familiar, a pilot.
No, I don't know.
Okay, he was a pilot in the Korean War and then again in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And he was actually shot down over Vietnam and was injured, obviously, upon landing there, and subsequently held prisoner for 7 years.
Oh.
And so I serve on a committee with him, and I cannot look at him, especially having read his book, and not think of so many other folks who serve our country. My grandfather, a World War II veteran, he kind of got me interested in this business.
Are you that young?
I like that question.
I had a couple brothers in the Second World War, and Harry and Keith, and then a brother-in-law that was in there. So.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, people can be a little frustrated with Washington these days, for good reason. Sometimes the debates turn into shouting matches and aren't quite as productive. But I invite people to Washington whenever they can make it, because we have these iconic buildings or the memorials, the monuments that I want people to see. We build them and build those structures over time as reminders. And so this is kind of fun for me, though, to present you with the medals that you've been waiting a little while for, right?
Yeah. When I got out, they didn't have them, so
Okay.
My stepsons wrote that letter to
Very good.
where I could get this. But
Very good. One of these is for fidelity, and I can't help but think that that's very appropriate, that everyone who has served our country so faithfully, that certainly they're deserving of the medal with fidelity. I know that overall Korean service and national defense, and there are 4 here, but I just want to present these to you out of my own gratitude, a little selfishly on my part to thank you.
Anyway,
And I just want you to have these.
Mm-hmm.
And,
okay.
And
well, thank you.
There we go.
Hold them up, Dad.
There you go. Yeah, like a deck of cards there.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure how you wanted to receive those, but there's a.
Yeah.
Okay, face him this way so we can see him too.
Huh?
Face him this way so we can see him. There you go.
There.
All right. There you go.
There you go.
Perfect.
Down on your knees. That's,
Yeah, that works better.
So now I understand today's a special day for you, as in addition to receiving the medals, right?
Yes.
Your 81st birthday.
Yep, right.
All right. Well, I think we have a little presentation to make for more than just medals.
Okay.
This other presentation may not be as lasting as a medal, but how about a little birthday cake there?
Boy, that's
Oh.
nice. Well, thank you.
And we thought
I'll
we'd give
just-
you flags instead
yeah,
of
There
candles.
we go.
Oh,
Here, how about we turn that around so we can get
yeah,
a picture?
yeah, right.
Got it. There
There,
you go.
like
Yeah,
that.
flags instead of candles.
Yeah.
We should do that other times too. All right.
There you go.
Got that the printing there on the cake.
The only
You're
thing
all-
wrong with having birthdays like that, you get old.
But we
Oh
we,
yeah.
we don't
you
want
can't
to
hardly see the writing, huh?
Senator,
We all want to have birthdays though, right? 'Cause
Good.
when we
Yeah.
stop having birthdays, there's
Yeah,
some other issues.
yeah, I was telling somebody when I was young, seemed like I'd never get old, you know, but it don't wait for you.
That's right.
Time just don't wait.
Well, it's you know, with the medals there, I know there's a good conduct medal. And,
Yeah.
so I'm glad you behaved yourself while you know.
Yeah.
So
You didn't hear all the stories that we heard.
really,
There was a lot went on over there, you know, as far as, you know, I was over there, I think it was 15 months or something like that, 14 months, something like that. Quite a while.
very good.
So how did the whole
The
process?
lady told me she got to go over there and see her son, and they sent her to Seoul, and for 4 days. She said, I got to go over there, and they paid all my expenses. And I said, I got to go over there and stay 15 months, they paid all my expenses too.
Yep.
Dad.
Go ahead.
So how did the whole process start? I mean, you wrapped up with the war, and 6 years later we're getting the medals. What happened in between? Where
I guess they had a fire, didn't they?
That's part of it.
And burned up some of the records and stuff. So my stepson wrote me a letter to write to Senator Smith and have him look them up. So I guess you did.
Well, with some assistance from my staff, we were able to do that. But
And I sure thank you for it, too.
well, we thank you.
Well, yeah, but at the time it didn't seem like everybody should.
I'll
should
tell you
do
what.
that.
Well, you know, in the Korean War and World War II and Vietnam, just about everyone did.
I know it. Yeah, the Korean War, they said there was going to be everybody went, no matter whether you was farming or what you was doing. Second World War, they let the farmers, some of them, stay out. You know, but because I had a couple brothers that stayed out, and some of them that went, two that went. Harry and Keith went to one of them went over into Europe, and the other in South Pacific. So.
Yeah, my grandpa was a Navy Seabee in the South Pacific.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. But you know, I was in Washington a little while ago when some Koreans came to visit to express their gratitude for what you did.
Oh yeah.
And certainly the Korean War Memorial is one of my favorites in terms of its impact.
Harry, who was in the South Pacific, he got a what do they call it, when a shell comes in, lands too close.
Okay.
Purple Heart or
Huh?
or
Oh, you know.
When a shell lands too
We
close,
had
I'd
them too.
call that a problem.
We had,
yeah,
we
scary.
had 155 long toms
Sure.
in there, and biggest gun in Korea at that time until that 240 come over, and then we had one of those assigned to our outfit too, 240 howitzer though. But then the Projo on ours weighed 96 pounds, and the one on that one weighed 286. So it was quite a bit bigger gun.
You've been down to Lexington and been to the Museum for Military
We haven't
Vehicles?
been down there. I think we'll go down there. one of
You
these
should
days.
try to do that.
We went down to Washington D.C. though, and they got the Korean veterans there, and the kind of they got Vietnam too, and then the wars, you know.
So tell me what you did after the war.
What's this?
Immediately after the war, when you came back.
Oh, well, right after I got out in Fort Carson, Colorado. It was Camp Carson at that time, and I got out up there, and I come right on home. I didn't go anywhere else.
But we're glad you came.
I was just kind of glad to get home. I think we all were.
Yeah. So anything else before we cut the cake? Any questions?
I'm glad you came home too.
Me too, or else I probably wouldn't be here. No, I wouldn't be here. Yes.
3 of the kids are here.
Very good.
My kids. But the others are strung around quite a little bit. Kenny's in Arizona. Kingman, Arizona, and Eric is in Pennsylvania, and the other's in Canada. She's married to a guy up there in Canada.